Max's obsession with Dr. Elena was becoming worrying. The dog followed her everywhere, wherever she went. As if there was something in the doctor's body that only he could sense. And when Dr. Elena learned this truth, her perspective on Max would change forever. Dr. Elena Vasquez had been working at City Veterinary Clinic for 12 years as an experienced veterinarian. Healing animals was her life's purpose. But the dog brought to the clinic that winter day was one of the most difficult cases in her career. Max was a medium-sized, black and white mixed breed street dog. He had been severely injured in a car accident and brought to the clinic covered in blood. This dog's chances of survival are very low, said assistant veterinarian Jake. Maybe it would be more merciful to put him down. But when Dr. Elena looked into Max's eyes, she saw something different. There was a will to live there. A stubborn, strong will to live. No, Elena said determinedly. We're going to save this dog. The difficult 5-hour surgery began. Max had serious damage to his internal organs. His ribs were broken, his lung was punctured. A case that seemed impossible under normal circumstances. But Dr. Elena didn't give up. She put all her knowledge and experience into play. And a miracle happened. Max survived the surgery. Incredible, said Jake. How did this dog survive? Dr. Elena was also surprised. Medically, Max's survival was a very low probability. But the dog hadn't just survived, his recovery process had been extraordinarily fast. 3 weeks later, Max had completely recovered. But there was a problem, the dog didn't want to leave the clinic. The surgery had been Elena's most challenging case in years. Multiple internal injuries, severe trauma, blood loss that should have been fatal. Yet something about Max's determination had inspired her to push beyond conventional protocols. During those critical first 48 hours, Elena had practically lived at the clinic, monitoring Max's every breath, adjusting medications, providing round-the-clock care that went far beyond normal veterinary practice. I've never seen you so invested in a single case, Jake had observed during one of Elena's marathon vigils. But Elena couldn't explain it. There was something special about Max, something that made her believe he deserved every chance at survival. Little did she know that this decision would soon prove to be the most important of her life. After Max recovered, he continued to stay at the clinic. Dr. Elena tried to find him a new home, but the dog couldn't adapt to any family. He kept returning to the clinic every time. It's like he's become the clinic's dog, Jake said with a smile. Dr. Elena had also gotten used to Max. The dog had become the staff's mascot. He got along very well with patients and calmed other animals. But Max's behavior toward Dr. Elena was different. He never left her alone. Wherever Elena went, Max came too. This dog seems to have fallen in love with you, joked Elena's closest friend Dr. Sarah. Elena laughed, but actually Max's behaviors were starting to make her think. The dog sometimes acted very strangely. He sniffed Elena intensely. As if he was looking for something important in her body. Max is just grateful, Elena thought. He's attached to me because I saved his life. But there was something deeper in Max's behaviors. The dog sniffed specific parts of Elena's body. Especially the chest and abdominal area. And he looked worried every time. Elena had noticed this but didn't pay attention to it. Until her own health problems began. Max's attachment went beyond normal canine gratitude. He seemed to study Elena with an intensity that was almost human-like. When she worked late at the clinic, Max would position himself where he could observe her constantly. Other staff members noticed it too. That dog watches you like a guardian angel, one of the veterinary assistants commented. But Elena dismissed these observations as anthropomorphizing normal dog behavior. Max was simply a loyal, grateful animal who had bonded with his savior. She had no way of knowing that his constant vigilance stemmed from abilities that defied conventional understanding. 6 months after Max staying at the clinic, Dr. Elena began to notice strange symptoms in herself. Constant fatigue, loss of appetite, occasional mild pains in her chest. "You work too much," said Dr. Sarah. "You should take some vacation." Elena thought so too. She had hardly taken any vacation for 12 years. She attributed the symptoms to overwork. But Max's behaviors had changed. The dog no longer left Elena's side at all. When Elena went home, Max followed her too. He stayed in her bedroom all night. "Max, why do you come all the way home?" Elena would ask the dog. Max seemed to sense that Elena was worried and tried to comfort her. But at the same time, he constantly sniffed Elena. Especially the left chest area. When Elena's pain began to increase, Max's behaviors became even stranger. The dog would climb on Elena and gently press her chest with his paws. "Max, what are you doing?" Elena asked in surprise. What Max was doing wasn't normal dog behavior. As if he knew there was a problem in Elena's body. And Elena's nightmare was about to begin. The changes in Max's behavior were subtle at first, but became increasingly obvious. He would wake Elena during the night, pawing gently at her left side. During the day, he would position himself so he could constantly observe her breathing patterns. "It's like he's monitoring my vital signs," Elena confided to Sarah during one of their coffee breaks. Sarah laughed. Maybe he should get a job as a nurse. But Elena was beginning to feel uneasy. The dog's behavior was too specific, too focused. And the symptoms she was experiencing were becoming harder to ignore. When Dr. Elena's pain became unbearable, she finally decided to see a doctor. She consulted her old friend Dr. Michael Rodriguez, who worked in another city. "Elena, how long have you been experiencing these symptoms?" asked Dr. Rodriguez. "About 3 months. But they've gotten very bad recently." Dr. Rodriguez conducted a detailed examination. Then they began waiting for test results. At that time, Max didn't leave Elena's side. He walked behind Elena in the hospital corridors, constantly sniffing her. "Why is this dog so attached to you?" asked Dr. Rodriguez. "I don't know. He's been like this since I operated on him." When the test results arrived, Dr. Rodriguez's face fell. Elena's fears had become reality. "Elena, I have bad news. There's a mass in your left breast. And it shows signs of cancer." Elena's world collapsed around her. Breast cancer. And it was advanced stage. "How much time do I have?" she asked with a trembling voice. "We need to start treatment immediately." "But frankly, Elena, the situation is serious." At that moment, Max came to Elena's side and rested his head on her knee. As if he understood everything. The diagnosis explained everything that had been happening over the past months. Max's obsessive focus on her left chest, his increasing anxiety, his protective behavior, it all made sense now. Dr. Rodriguez noticed Max's reaction. "It's almost as if he knew," he said quietly. Elena looked down at Max, who was gazing up at her with those intelligent brown eyes. "Did you know?" she whispered. "Have you been trying to tell me?" The dog's response was to press closer against her leg, as if offering comfort for the devastating news he had somehow sensed was coming. After Elena received the cancer diagnosis, she began to reevaluate Max's past behaviors. The dog had been sniffing Elena's chest area for months. As if he had sensed the disease much earlier. Is this possible? Elena wondered. She began to research. And she found surprising information. It had been scientifically proven that some dogs could smell cancer and detect diseases early. Did Max sense my cancer? Elena thought. When she told Dr. Sarah about the situation, her friend was also surprised. If this is true, Max has been trying to warn you for months. Elena now understood Max's behaviors. The dog had sensed her disease early and tried to help her. But the real miracle was about to begin. When chemotherapy treatment started, Max never left Elena's side. He even came to hospital treatments. The nurses allowed Max because they saw that the dog calmed Elena. And something strange was happening. On days when Max was with Elena, side effects were less. Her pain decreased, her morale improved. Could this be coincidence? Elena wondered. But her doctors were also beginning to notice. The research Elena conducted revealed fascinating studies about canine cancer detection. Dogs possessed up to 300 million olfactory receptors compared to humans' 6 million. They could detect chemical changes in the human body that occurred months before symptoms appeared. But Max's abilities seemed to go beyond detection. His behavior suggested not just awareness of the disease, but an almost therapeutic response to it. Elena began to document his actions, noting patterns that defied easy explanation. Dr. Rodriguez was closely monitoring Elena's treatment process. And he had noticed something unusual. "Elena, your response to treatment is very good compared to normal patients. Side effects are minimal, the cancer's spread has stopped." Elena had also noticed. She felt stronger. And she suspected this was related to Max. "Doctor, is there any scientific study about dogs healing diseases?" Dr. Rodriguez found this question interesting. "There's a field we call pet therapy. It's known that animals accelerate people's healing process. But direct healing effect, this is very controversial." Elena began to observe Max more closely. The dog wasn't just accompanying her. As if he was actively participating in the treatment process. Max behaved differently on days when Elena received chemotherapy. Calmer, more focused. He would lie next to Elena, as if transferring his healing energy to her. This is nonsense, Elena thought. It's not scientific. But the results were undeniable. Elena's condition was visibly improving. And Max. Max seemed to be using all his strength to heal Elena. Dr. Rodriguez began documenting Elena's case more carefully. Her response to treatment was exceptional, far beyond what the oncology team had predicted based on the stage and aggressiveness of her cancer. "I've been practicing oncology for 15 years, he told his colleagues during a case review. "I've never seen this kind of response rate." The medical team agreed that something unusual was happening, but couldn't identify the variable that made Elena's case so unique. Only Elena suspected the truth about Max's role in her remarkable recovery. Elena began to examine Max's behaviors in more detail. The dog lay next to Elena's bed every night, listening to her breathing until morning. But the strangest thing was when Max lay on top of Elena. The dog would put his head on Elena's chest area and stay like that for hours. "Max, what are you doing?" Elena would ask. Max's breath created warmth on Elena's skin. And Elena felt her pain decrease during those moments. Is this just a change of air, she wondered. But something had also caught Dr. Rodriguez's attention. Elena's cancer cells had stopped growing. There were even signs of shrinkage in some areas. "This is a very rare situation," said Dr. Rodriguez. "The body's resistance to cancer has suddenly increased." Elena was beginning to be certain. Max had a role in this healing. That night she observed Max more carefully. When the dog lay on top of her, Elena felt heat. But this wasn't normal body temperature. It was deeper, more healing warmth. "Max, you're healing me, aren't you?" Elena whispered. Max looked at Elena and wagged his tail as if saying, "Yes." The sensations Elena experienced during these sessions defied medical explanation. The warmth that emanated from Max seemed to penetrate deeply into her tissues, creating a sense of cellular regeneration that she couldn't articulate to her medical team. During one particularly intense session, Elena felt a tingling sensation throughout her chest area, followed by a profound sense of peace and energy. Max remained perfectly still throughout, his breathing synchronized with hers in a rhythm that seemed almost meditative. This has to be documented, Elena thought, but she knew that no medical journal would accept anecdotal evidence of canine healing powers without rigorous scientific proof. Elena began researching to understand Max's healing effect. And she discovered surprising information. There were studies about animals having bioenergy fields, and this energy being able to affect humans. It was noted that especially when dogs had strong emotional bonds with their owners, this effect could increase. Max has formed a special bond with me, Elena thought. And this bond has made him a healer. When she told her findings to Dr. Sarah, her friend approached with skepticism. Elena, this sounds very fantastic. Is there scientific evidence? You see the results. I'm getting better. And this isn't just treatment. Indeed, Elena's condition was medically inexplicably good. Cancer cell growth had stopped, body resistance had increased. Dr. Rodriguez was also affected by the situation. Elena, I'm going to write an article about your case. This is an extraordinary healing process. But Elena knew that the real hero was Max. The dog had dedicated his life to Elena, giving her the greatest gift, a chance to live. And Max was beginning to weaken during this process. Elena found research papers on biofield therapy and therapeutic touch in animals. Studies from veterinary colleges documented cases where animals seemed to transfer healing energy to their human companions. One study from UC Davis showed that therapy dogs could measurably reduce cortisol levels and increase oxytocin production in cancer patients. Another from the Journal of Alternative Medicine documented cases of animals exhibiting healing behaviors that correlated with improved patient outcomes. But none of the research explained the dramatic physical changes occurring in Elena's condition, changes that her oncologists continued to describe as highly unusual and beyond expected parameters. As Elena healed, Max's condition began to deteriorate. The dog had become weak, his energy had decreased. As if he was transferring his own strength to Elena. Max, why are you getting weak? Elena asked worriedly. In veterinary checkups, no serious illness was found in Max. But the dog clearly showed exhaustion. Dr. Sarah had a theory: Max is giving you his energy. This is his sacrifice. Elena didn't want to accept this thought. But Max's behavior supported this. The dog was sacrificing himself to heal Elena. No, Max, Elena said with tears. I don't want to be your sacrifice. But Max was determined. He continued to accompany Elena until she was completely healed. 6 months later, Dr. Rodriguez gave the incredible news: Elena, the cancer has been completely cleared. You're healed. Elena hugged Max with tears. Thank you, Max. You saved my life. But Max's condition was worrying. The dog had become very weak. Now it's time to rest, Elena told Max, now I'll take care of you. The transformation in Max was heartbreaking to witness. The once vibrant, energetic dog now moved slowly, spent most of his time sleeping, and had lost significant weight despite Elena's careful attention to his nutrition. Veterinary examinations revealed no underlying pathology, no cancer, no organ failure, no infections. Max was simply depleted. As if his life force had been channeled elsewhere. I've never seen anything like this, admitted the veterinary internist. It's as if his body is in a state of energy exhaustion, but there's no medical cause we can identify. Elena knew the cause, and the guilt was overwhelming. Her miracle had come at the cost of Max's vitality. After Elena healed, it was time to take care of Max. The dog was exhausted, but Elena began giving him special care. The best veterinary food, vitamins, constant love. Elena did everything she could for Max to regain his strength. Max, you saved me. Now I'll save you. Gradually, Max's condition began to improve. Elena's love and care reconnected the dog to life. This is a cycle, Elena thought. We're saving each other. Max was no longer as strong as before, but he was happy. Elena was healthy and that was enough for him. Dr. Rodriguez published Elena and Max's story in medical journals. The article titled, The Healing Power of Human-Animal Bond, received great attention. Elena's case shows that there are healing processes that medicine cannot explain, said Dr. Rodriguez. But what mattered to Elena wasn't scientific explanations. It was Max's sacrifice for her. "You're my angel, Max," Elena would tell the dog. "And I'll protect you forever." Elena's care regimen for Max was as dedicated as his had been for her. She prepared special meals with ingredients known to boost energy and immunity. She created a comfortable sleeping area where Max could rest undisturbed. Most importantly, she spent hours each day simply being present with him, offering the same healing companionship he had provided during her darkest days. Slowly, Max began to show signs of improvement. His appetite returned, his coat regained some of its luster, and he began to take interest in clinic activities again. The recovery was gradual but steady, sustained by the same love that had driven his sacrifice for Elena. A year after Elena's recovery, their lives had completely changed. Elena had started a special program at her clinic, Healing Pet Therapy. She offered therapy opportunities with dogs to cancer patients. Max had become the program leader. "Max's story gives hope," Elena told her patients. "If he could heal me, your dogs can heal you too." The program achieved great success. Dozens of patients healed faster by receiving therapy with their pets. Max was now an old dog but continued his mission. He gave hope to sick people. "You're not just my dog, Max," Elena would say. "You're a miracle." Elena's story made it to national media. She appeared on television programs, wrote a book. But she always emphasized Max's role. "He saved my life," Elena would say in every interview. "And now he continues to save others' lives." Max would sit quietly beside her, as if he knew how important he was. The Elena method became a recognized therapeutic approach, studied and implemented in veterinary and medical schools worldwide. Research grants funded studies into the mechanisms of animal-assisted healing, though the measurable benefits remained difficult to quantify scientifically. Elena's clinic became a pilgrimage site for cancer patients and their pets. The waiting list for the Healing Pet Therapy program stretched months into the future. Max, despite his advanced age, continued to serve as the program's inspiration and, when his energy permitted, as an active participant in therapy sessions. Medical professionals who had initially been skeptical found themselves unable to argue with the consistently positive outcomes. Patient satisfaction rates were unprecedented, recovery times were shortened, and emotional well-being scores reached levels rarely seen in traditional treatment protocols. 5 years passed. Elena was completely healthy, Max had aged but was still strong. The bond between them had never weakened. Every morning they went to the clinic together, increasing patients' hope. Elena's therapy program had become a worldwide model. Known as the Dr. Elena model, this program began to be implemented in dozens of countries. But the most important thing for Elena was every moment she spent with Max. The dog hadn't just given her life, he had also taught her the meaning of living. "Max," Elena would say, stroking the dog's head. "You taught me the greatest lesson. Love heals everything." Max would wag his tail. He had also learned much from Elena. How to help people, the power of sacrifice. In the evenings when they watched television at home, Elena would take Max's head in her lap. "Every day I spend with you is a gift," she would say. "And this gift will last forever." Max would close his eyes and sleep peacefully. He also knew that his bond with Elena wouldn't end even with death. Their story was the most beautiful example of love, sacrifice, and miraculous healing. And it continued to give hope to new patients every day. Elena and Max's story was proof that love could overcome any disease. They both knew this was just a beginning. They would save many more lives, give much more hope. Forever together. The legacy they created extended far beyond individual healing. Universities established research chairs in human-animal therapeutic bonds. The Elena Max Foundation funded studies into the biological mechanisms underlying pet-assisted recovery. Their story inspired a new generation of veterinarians and physicians to explore integrative approaches to healing. But perhaps most importantly, they had proven that the deepest healing often occurred not through technology or pharmaceuticals, but through the ancient, immeasurable power of unconditional love. Max's sacrifice had saved Elena's life, but their shared journey had saved something even more precious, the faith that miracles were possible when love guided the way. Every patient who entered their clinic carried away more than improved health. They carried the knowledge that in a world often focused on the limitations of medicine, there remained forces of healing that defied explanation but delivered results that spoke louder than any scientific paper ever could. The bond between Dr. Elena Vasquez and Max would continue to inspire, heal, and transform lives for generations to come, proving that sometimes the most powerful medicine came not from a laboratory, but from the heart of a dog who loved unconditionally. Elena and Max's story shows us that love and sacrifice are the most powerful healing forces. Max's rescue of Elena proves that animals can be not just companions, but also healing angels. This story also emphasizes the power of mutual love. Elena saved Max, and Max saved Elena. This cycle is the most beautiful example of how deep and healing the human-animal bond can be. If this touching story has also touched your heart, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Because in the magical world of animals, many more miraculous stories await you. Share your experiences with us in the comments. Have your pets ever given you healing touch? Until we meet in the next video. Because the most beautiful miracles happen in loving hearts.